Hi everyone, this is Angie with the Painted Feather, live on the Chalk Paint 101 page today. I'm going to share this with the world of chalk paint. A little pop-up for me here. Anyway, as you arrive to watch this today, hi Jen, I would love it if you tell me where you are watching from, and happy Thanksgiving week everyone. Again, my name is Angie. I am with the Painted Feather by Angie, and I am a premier retailer of Dixie Belle paint and paint products in Northern California. And you can find me at Whistle Stop Antiques in Santa Rosa. Hello, Jen. And everybody loves Dixie Belle paint, and I'm really happy to be a retailer because I talk about this paint all the time, and I paint every single day with it. If you were live with me last night on Dixie Belle paint page, I painted this really, really pretty mirror. It came out awesome. That was in the navy, and the moonshine, actually not moonshine metallic, the metallic mousse, the new metallic mousse in the color amber. So what I have for us today is, this is actually an old radio, a vintage radio cabinet, and it's really cool, and I figured it would be really nice to turn this into a bar. So I'm an antique dealer as well as a paint retailer, and I just thought this was a really cute piece, and the scale of it, I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but by me sitting here you can tell it's not like a super huge piece. It's not really as big as a sideboard. Hi B, Santa Rosa people. So it's kind of good for, in our area, the cost of housing is pretty expensive, so sometimes the space that is available to put something like this is not a lot of space. So I wanted to do one a little smaller scale, and that way reimagine this piece of furniture so it gets more use than an old radio cart, because this was actually headed to the dump. So I saved it from going to the dump. So anyway, everybody, as you come on, please tell me where you are watching from. Tell me if you're using Dixie Belle paint today, what you are working on, and if you need to find a retailer of Dixie Belle paint, you can go to dixiebellepaint.com and click on the link that says find a local retailer, and you can hopefully find somebody in your area that will talk to you about your project and help you figure out the right things to buy. If not, you can always shoot me a message. I'm happy to help assist you with figuring out a vision. Hello, Marianne from Iowa. Okay, so I'm really excited because I've been wanting to use the color Muscadine wine for quite a while, and that is, some paint on this already, but that is this color. Hi, Maria from the UK. I love it that people from all over the world tune in for these. Hi, Monique. Hello, Maria. Okay, so Muscadine wine, I've been wanting to use it forever. I keep seeing all these amazing pictures posted with this color, and I'm going to use it today. And I'm also going to incorporate this color, which is Barn Red. This is my favorite red with Dixie Belle. So I love this color, Barn Red. And I'm going to use Caviar as well. I'm going to blend these three colors together. And actually, I did a little sample board. And hold on, I have to run over and get it. I put it out in the sun. Hold on one second. Let me go find it. Okay. I just did like a 50-yard dash to go get this. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see this really well, but this is kind of what I'm going for. And in this lighting, you can't really tell, but I'm going to pop out the red a little bit more in the center. So I was just kind of practicing on this. So if you don't know how something's going to turn out, practice, right? The Muscadine wine is going to be so pretty. So, okay, so what are you going to need if you are going to do this? Number one, well, actually, okay, let me back up. I cleaned the whole entire piece with the White Lightning cleaner. I'm out of breath because I just ran across my yard. And cleaned the whole piece, wiped it down, had to clean it a couple times because it was super dirty. And then I had to do a little repair work with Dixie mud. So a little repair work here and there, had to let that dry, sanded it down. Then I cleaned it off again because I had some sanding dust. And now I am going to add, I'm just going to do kind of a base coat, and I'm going to do that in the color Caviar. So you can do that. You don't have to necessarily do like a base coat, but I like the same color all over, even when I'm going to blend. So we're going to do that, and I'm just going to focus on this whole section for you guys. I'll be doing the legs in Caviar, but with this tutorial time, so we have like 45 minutes to an hour, so I'm just going to focus on this whole section here. And I think I'm going to be going back and doing the top in a gel stain, in the black gel stain in Colonial Black, but let's just focus on this whole section, and I will show you how I like to blend with the paint and what I like to do. So you might see 10 different ways that people do this, and every way is valid and every way is perfect. So, you know, if you see somebody else doing it a different way, that's their way of doing it, and that's great. So no worries. So I suggest that you have a brush for each color. So I have, actually I have 4 here. So I have a brush for each color, and then I also have a neutral brush for blending. And then I have a brush for doing a different type of blending, and I'll show you that too. So this is the oval medium brush, and then I have a combination of Dixie Belle Mini and Dixie Belle Mini Angle brushes here. So that's what I'm going to do. And besides that, my misting spray bottle is like uber important with doing this. You need water to be able to blend the paint. So make sure if you're trying to blend paint and you're not using any water, that might be your issue. So think about that. Okay, so I am going to get the first coat of paint on, and I'm going to use Caviar. And so I stirred this up, or I mixed this up, shook it up, however you want to do it. I've already done that. So I am going to start down here. I'll do this whole section too. So just get your paint on. My brush is already wet, so I already got that nice and damp. And when I am painting, I mist the piece of furniture that I'm painting. I just spray right on. If you guys have questions while this tutorial is happening, feel free to post them. And if I don't see it, I'll jump back on later and I'll answer it for you. So this is our just first coat, and this molding is going to be really pretty. I might pop out the details on that with some sort of a gilding wax. Maybe I'll use the new garnet color by Dixie Belle with the metallic mousse. That would be really pretty. So I did not put any boss on this piece because I'm using really, really dark colors, and then I'm blending colors. So even if I got a little bit of bleed through, usually the colors that this is going to bleed won't really interfere with what I'm trying to accomplish. So I wasn't worried about bleed through on this, but if you are going to a light color from a dark piece like this, I would definitely use 2 coats of Boss before proceeding, because this one probably will bleed. So first coat, just get it on. I'm not doing it around the sides. I'm just gonna do the front for the purpose of this video. I'll go back later and do the sides, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm doing Caviar over everything that I'm going to paint, because I want just kind of blank slate Caviar. So hi Lisa. Okay. And go with the grain of the wood, whatever direction the wood grain is going, and make sure you get your face up in there and see all the little areas that need paint, and long sweeping strokes. And I have a really light touch on this. You know, if you need to cram it up into a little corner, that's okay, but otherwise just nice smooth brush strokes. Okay, and I just noticed there's little particles that are kind of coming off of here. I'm just going to wipe my brush off right on my drop cloth. If you have anything that gets on your brush, you don't want to keep it on there, so get it off. Okay, so the direction of the wood is up and down right here, so I'm changing direction. just look at the wood grain and go with that. And if you don't have wood grain on it, if it's like Formica or something like that, just long strokes across will work out for you. As long as you have a consistent way that you're painting, it'll look nice. So, how's it going out there? Okay. So I should be sitting on one of those little dollies right now. I'm not, but I'm going to reach over here. I was inside painting last night because it was cold, and now it's like almost 70 degrees here today. So we have very bipolar weather in Santa Rosa. All right, so now I've got these 3 sections. I'm going to come over here and do this one. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, Jeanette. Just getting my base coat on, and then we're going to go back, and then we're going to put the paint, the other paint colors, where we want them to be. And then we'll start a little blending. So some people on their first pass will put whatever colors they're using in the spots that they want them. And sometimes I do that too. But in this case, I just want to start with the black and just get that to be a real deep, dark undercoat, because I want this to be kind of a sexy, mysterious piece. So we'll start with the black. Okay, so I'm gonna come back over here, and my wood grain actually is up and down here, so I might go across and then switch it, just get it on real quick, and then I can smooth it out. Okay, I've got to cover up the mud, and usually I will cover the mud with like a clear coat or Boss before I paint something, because it will take the paint differently in those spots. Now, since I'm blending, I'm using multiple colors, I'm not really worried, and it's real close to the edge. So I did not put any Boss or any clear coat or anything over that, but if you're doing like a really simple, consistent finish, I would suggest using a couple coats of Boss over where you put the mud, because you don't want it to take different in that spot. Okay, now I'm just going to smooth it out with the grain of the wood here. It's not as important because I'm going to be blending this anyway, but okay. Make it a little, I don't know, like where I like things to be all the same direction, but you might not be that particular about it. That's okay. If it looks good to you, then do what works for you. Okay, so I'm going to get this on quick here. I've got this kind of trim detail. Make sure you get all around that. I think this will be a really nice color for the holidays. The Muscadine wine with the barn red. And if you don't necessarily have that color in your house, it's okay to have a piece of furniture with one pop of color, and then you can incorporate like throw pillows or different accessories to tie it in. And it's fun to change things out for the holidays, or even change the color of them for the holiday season. If you paint as much as I do, that doesn't really seem like a big deal. But if you never change anything, it might seem like a big deal to you. So, okay. Now this has a little texture on it, so I'm just making sure I get the paint down in all those little grooves. And this wood grain's going this way, so smooth it out. trying to get the edge to be the same. All right, now we've just got one little section left to get our base coat on, and then we'll start the fun part. This will be really nice. I'm going to put different knobs on it than the originals, so I'm going to have to find some really pretty knobs to put on here. And if you see any little drips when you're going back over at different areas, you can fix those. I just kind of fixed one over here. All right, I'm going to have to dry this, and then we'll start with the colors that we're going to blend with. So I'll be putting more Caviar back on, and the Muscadine wine is the primary color, and the Barn Red. So I could have done this whole thing in Muscadine wine, but I just want that dark undercoat, so I'm doing it in Caviar. Now, when I'm blending it, I'm going to be kind of turning directions and everything, but I just want this base coat nice and smooth. Okay. All right, now I'm going to turn it because the way the grain was on here. Smooth it all out. Okay, so that, I mean, it looks nice just as Caviar too, but that is not what I want. So I'm going to just take my heat gun to it, and we'll get this dried up, and then we can start with the other colors here. So thankfully it's warm out here today, so this shouldn't take too long. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them at me. I can kind of look at my camera right now, at my phone right now. Is everybody staying home for Thanksgiving? I think we all are. If you just jumped on, tell me where you're watching from. Has anybody done any of the purses lately? I've been seeing a lot of people painting purses and painting little jewelry cabinets. Lots of arts and crafts for the holidays too. Okay, I see something dripping, so I'm just fixing that. So just keep moving your heat gun. Toronto, Ontario, hi Julie. Keep your heat gun moving so that you don't bubble up the paint. But it dries pretty quick with this heat gun. I don't know if you guys can see how fast that's working. Hello from New Zealand. Hi, Cheryl. I really want to go to New Zealand. Can't go anywhere right now, though. Okay. So these little edges take a little bit longer where the paint gathers, but almost dry. Do it with your finger too if you need to. You have a little drip. Okay. Okay, a few more seconds here. Oh, and I didn't think I mentioned, I did give a good scuff sand. Just a really light scuff sand to this whole piece here. I'm going to go back and do the top a little bit better. All right. Okay, that is good. Okay, so now we get to do the fun part. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do one section at a time because you can't do multiple sections at a time because it will dry up too quickly on you. So I'm gonna start with this section. I'll do this one, we'll just do these in the order. So I'm gonna get my Caviar paint. I'm gonna open all of my paints up so that I can work quickly. I've already shaken these up. So I've got my Barn Red, my Muscadine wine, and my Caviar. I'm gonna put them somewhere where I'm not gonna knock them over. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put the Caviar where I want it to be. So I just want the Caviar to be on this edge here. And right now I'm gonna leave, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna leave the darker outer edge. I may go and add some Muscadine wine and Barn Red to that later, but for right now, I'm just gonna work on these inner pieces. So, and then I'll decide later if I want to incorporate the Muscadine wine and the Barn Red there. So I'm just gonna go on this outer edge, so kind of a thinner amount. Okay, and I'm not gonna blend it in too much, so that's my first brush. My second brush, I'm using the Muscadine wine. So dip it right in there. And put that where we want it to be. So this is my most prominent color. So I'm going right up to the edge of the Caviar. I'm trying not to contaminate my paint, so I'm trying not to get the Caviar in on my brush because I'm trying not to contaminate my Muscadine wine paint. Okay. And that, and now I'm going to get my third brush. I'm going to go into the Barn Red. And this is just going to provide kind of a brighter pop in the center. So let's see if you guys can see this. And I'm not really worried about it smoothing it out yet. Okay. So you could do this on your first coat. You could just go put all of these where you want them to be. But this is how I like to blend. So now I'm going to take, this is the oval medium brush, and I'm going to blend these colors together with the oval medium brush, and I'm just going to swirl them around. So my brush is nice and damp, and I'm going to start from the outside and go in. So just swirling these together, and as I'm doing it, I can see the colors changing, and it's creating a different color, like multiple different colors in the center here. So I'm going to just keep on swirling that around. I'm going to keep on going in, so I'm working my way in here. I noticed the outside, I didn't quite get up in the edge there, so. Okay. And I may have to add a little more Caviar. And I'm going to swirl this part together here. You get a good arm workout when you do this. But see how that looks already? I mean, it's like, pull you guys in a little closer here. So you can see that. But you see how that's already looking quite blended. So I already want a little bit more Caviar, so I'm going to add, go in, I'm going to add a little bit more Caviar. So let's do that. Okay, and now I'm going to get my brush again and swirl that together. You can use your misting spray bottle if the paint isn't damp enough. This paint is pretty damp, so Okay, that's blending nicely now. I'm kind of getting up on this edge here. That's okay. I'll work out what I'm going to do with that later, just details. Okay, so now I've got these all swirled together. Isn't that pretty, Jen? And now I'm taking my neutral brush that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to go back and forth here. And now I want everything to go this way, I've decided. So I'm just going to go, I'm probably going to kind of box it in, and then I'll blend it back and forth. So just kind of actually kind of go in a box shape here. Blend this. Got a little water dripping there. Paper towels are good to have by. Okay, so I'm just smoothing it all out now. Once you get it kind of blended, I'll probably go back and do a second blend coat. Not on camera, but this will kind of give you a good idea how to do this. Kind of going toward the center. Now I'm just gonna come across here and see how it looks. Smooth it all out. And I'm liking how that looks. So see how that looks, you guys. Hi Diane. Hi Debbie. Okay, we're doing a little blending. Okay, this will be easier to see in the center. So I'm pretty good with how that looks. I'm probably, like I said, going to do another coat after this so that I just have really rich colors, but we'll see. So let's do the same thing again. I'm gonna start with my Caviar and go around the perimeter. Don't get it too damp, but you want it damp enough where it's kind of not drying out on you too fast, because you want to blend the colors. So don't work on a huge section at once, because this paint dries pretty quickly. Oh, okay, glare. So let me see if I turn my camera or my light off, if it helps. That's still, oh, you can still see a glare, huh? Okay, maybe on the center one will probably be a little bit better. Just turn the camera or my light off so the sun is bright today. Okay, I think this one being more straight on will be easier to figure out what I'm doing. So I'm going all along this outer part of the trim piece with my Caviar. So you gotta work a little bit quick. Okay, so that's all the Caviar I want. My dominant color is the Muscadine wine. So let's get the Muscadine wine where we want it. And if you notice that you're getting too much of another color on your brush, just wipe your brush off with a paper towel, so you're not contaminating your paint, or you can pour your paint into different containers while you do this. I paint so many things that I don't usually take the time to do that. Okay, so we're just getting this where we want it to be right now. Now I'm going to use my Barn Red once I'm happy with how much I have here. Okay, so that we're just kind of putting these in rectangular areas where we want them to be. So now my Barn Red. Do you guys blend things? What are your favorite colors? Okay, so I want this to be a real bright pop in the center. I'm kind of covering that center part. Keep your misting spray bottle around, keep it nice and damp. And as you're swirling it together, you can add water to it. All right, time to get my brush. Let me see if I can get it so that it's not so glary. It's kind of hard to see with that glare. Okay. All right. We just got to work with it. Okay, so now I'm going to start swirling it all together. So this is not a ton of pressure, pretty light amount of pressure that I'm pushing on this brush with. So just pretty light touch. I'm just kind of swirling it around here. Okay, and then I'm starting from the outside, and I'm going to keep on going inward. And you can see all these colors being created, if you guys can see that. This should be a little easier to determine what's happening. Okay, it's getting a little dry, so I'm going to mist it. And now it's creating this kind of blended pop in the center. Okay, can you see that? It's kind of hard with this glare, but okay. Maybe if I lean back a little bit. Okay, so now I've blended it with that. Now it's time to get my neutral brush back out. I'm wiping it off so that I don't have a ton of paint on it. And now I'm gonna just hit it with my misting spray bottle and go back and forth. And that is blending nicely. Okay, I'm going to kind of go in a rectangle again like I did before. So all these little swirls that I see are disappearing. I'm still going to have to blend on this outer edge, so I'll do that, like I said, when I'm not on camera, but I'm going to decide how I want that to look. So now I'm just going to kind of box it in, and then I'll go back and forth and blend it a little better. Okay. See how that's looking? Now this one's drying, so I'm going to want to have kind of a consistent pop in the center. So when I do the next coat, I'm going to try to make sure that I have a consistent brightness toward that middle and consistent kind of darkness toward the edges. Yeah, these colors are blending really nicely together. They're not too far apart as far as depth of color. Of course, the Caviar is very dark, but these are all pretty dark colors, so they're playing nicely together. So can you see that? So this one is mostly dry. I'm probably going to need to do a little bit brighter pop there. Hello from Circleville, Ohio. Hi, Christy. Okay, let's do the last one. This one doesn't look like it's going to have as much of a glare on it, so maybe this is our opportunity to have it look, have you guys see it a little bit easier. Okay, so same thing again. Caviar around the perimeter. Getting my brush stamp. And do this. And with the legs, I will probably blend from black up into Muscadine into Barn Red. So if you go over to my page, The Painted Feather by Angie, and like and follow my page, when I post the final photos of this, you'll get to see it and all the other fun projects I'm working on. Okay, so I put a little bit more Caviar on this one because I added Caviar after the fact on the first part that we did, the first little cabinet piece. So, okay, second color, Muscadine wine. Okay, that on. Perfect. And so when you're putting it on, like I said, it doesn't really matter as much with brush strokes and all that. Okay, now I'm gonna get the barn red with my barn red brush. Real bright pop in the center. And I'm gonna wipe off my blending brush. You want to buy more colors, Diane? Oh, if you have them all in your garage, it's a real problem, like I do. It's like, oh, I can try it. I've got it right there. I've got all my extra stock here. Okay, so here we go. Start swirling it around. Okay, I'm gonna clean that off a little bit better because I have too much muscadine wine on there. So if you need to, just a little mist on here. I'm gonna wipe it off because it had too much of the muscadine wine on. Okay, paper towels are your friend, so use them. All right, let's start blending the blendy blend thing. Okay, can you see this a little bit better? It kind of reconstitutes the paint when you spray it. I still may have to go add more Caviar. It's drying faster right now. Having to put a little more pressure on this because the Caviar is drying out a bit. So actually I need to add a little more Caviar. Because I definitely want some of that Caviar to be married into this here. All right, let's try that. Hi, Monica. Okay. Now, okay. There we go. Now I can see the black blending in here. So just swirling it around, light touch. You can see those colors mixing together there. And then once you feel like the outer edge is kind of blended a bit, just start moving in towards your center. See how those colors are all working? No glare. Yeah, this is way better, right? Okay, good. Glad it worked out over here. It's kind of a little starburst shape in there right now. All right, let's blend that. See how that is already? So I'm just sitting back and I'm looking at this and that, and I just want to add a touch of barn red to the middle so that it pops a little bit more. Okay, see, we'll just blend that in a little bit more. Okay, so now we've got it blended, but I've got all these swirls. I want to blend those out. So I'm getting my neutral brush. I'm going to wipe my neutral brush back off. And then we'll go and smooth this all out. So your misting bottle is your friend. And so I'm using the Dixie Belle Mini. This is not the angled one because this is just a real flat surface here. And I don't have any little grooves to get down into or anything. So I want it to be nice and smooth. So I'm going to kind of go around in a rectangular shape here. And just kind of work my way from the outside to the inside. It's getting nice and blended. And now, after I get that done, you just go back and forth. Just kind of smooth it all out. Yeah, airplane's going over. And so nice light touch here. Okay, that was a lot easier on that one without that big glare on there. Okay, so this one is definitely looking darker than those two. So on my third pass, I will make sure that I get the balance right on these. Sometimes you have to blend a few times to get it exactly right with all the components here, all the pieces, but you just keep on working on it till it gets to be how you want it to be. So anyway, I'm glad that this part doesn't have a glare on it so we could see how that is done. The colors I used today are Muscadine Wine, Barn Red, and Caviar. And I will continue working on this piece, and if you go to the Painted Feather by Angie, which is linked on the description of this video, you can see all the videos that I do. I was on Dixie Belle Paint last night, so you can go back and watch that one. And yeah, feel free to send questions my way. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, this is looking really pretty. It'll look so much better when it's all put together, and when I put the final hardware on it. It's like putting lipstick on it. When you end up putting, you know, your lipstick and your eyeliner and your mascara on, it looks a lot better. Yeah, aren't these pretty together? So thank you guys. Thanks for the hearts. I appreciate it. And go paint some things. Like I said, feel free to send me questions if you have any. And this is going to be a bar. This used to be a radio, an old radio cart. So we're going to use this. We're going to upcycle a piece of furniture. Thank you, B. It's not going to go into the landfill, so that makes me feel good. And this is given new life. So thanks for watching on Chalk Paint 101 today. Thank you, Samantha. And go out and paint some things. Go have fun with it. You're welcome. Or let's see, Rajia. Am I saying that right? And yeah, I'll be back. I'm here every Tuesday on Chalk Paint 101. So thanks for tuning in today. I will see you all next Tuesday. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you have lots to be thankful for. And if you need to find a retailer, click on the link on the Dixie Belle Paint page or dixiebellepaint.com and look for a retailer in your area, or you can click on the thing that says, which is my affiliate link, that says you can buy your Dixie Belle Paint here and get your Dixie Belle Paint delivered to you. And yeah, go paint some things. All right, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.